Good afternoon and welcome to the Embedded Executive Podcast. My name is Rich Nass. I am with Open Systems Media, more specifically with Embedded Computing Design. And this week my guest is John Harros. He is the head of certification for the CSA. How you doing, John?
Hi, Rich. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure. Well, you probably know why you're invited. And the reason I wanted to have you here is about an announcement that the CSA made very recently about the Matter Compliant Platform Certification. Boy, that's a mouthful. Um, it was just announced a week or so ago, and I'd like you to walk through what that means exactly. What is it? What is this certification program?
Absolutely, no problem. I can do that. So, first of all, it's probably worth understanding a little bit what a matter certification platform is in the first place. That's the thing that is getting certified. So basically, a matter compliant platform, it's a development environment. So we're talking here, software development kit plus any kind of hardware. So what people would know as an SDK plus hardware that's been formally certified under this certification program by the Alliance. And it's going to be part of the core Matter functionality. So, in a nutshell, that's what it is. It's a certification program specifically for a combination of SDK and hardware environments that product vendors can use to help them get to market quickly.
Now, we spend a lot of time on the security portion of Matter, and it is much wider than that. What does Matter encompass outside of the security that we talk about all the time?
Absolutely. So Matter itself, it is obviously a communication protocol. So it is also an open standard, which means that it's open for any product maker to make use of this particular protocol to allow their products to communicate with other developers' products. So it means that you can actually make use of products that are not part of your own portfolio. From a user's perspective, it means they have a choice. They can choose different devices, like a door lock from one manufacturer, a light bulb from another manufacturer, et cetera, and bring them all together. And they're all going to communicate correctly. Security, of course, is a very important part of Matter. But fundamentally, the whole concept of Matter is it is this communication protocol sitting on top of a transport protocol that's going to be IP based, so internet protocol based. So things like Wi-Fi, Thread is one of the new interesting ones for low power sensors, etc. And any transport technology really that is IP based.
Now, I want to get back to the certification program, but before we do that, let's just hang on to just Matter in general for the moment. I have this system. We always tend to talk about light bulbs. What is it that I need to add onto my existing platform to make it Matter compliant?
Well, so fundamentally, if you've already got an existing system, and it's one of the big ecosystems that's already supporting Matter, we're talking here people like Apple, Amazon, Google, Samsung, etc. There are a lot that are now supporting Matter. You will probably find that those ecosystems are giving you some kind of migration paths to Matter if your system isn't already Matter enabled. So Matter as a technology has now been on the go for a couple of years. It was actually developed very quickly. There's been a lot of effort. So as far as open standards goes, this has been very quick. Usually they take a lot longer. But because of that, if within the last 2 years, you will have seen that these ecosystems and platform providers have really been planning forward for this kind of migration. So generally speaking, whatever platform you've got, whatever network you've got, finding out what their migration paths are will allow you to add these new Matter devices to your network.
Is the purpose of the compliant platform certification to get me to market faster, to help me get to market faster?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are all sorts of different advantages for different stakeholders. Users are obviously one of the stakeholders, but thinking about product developers, the concept of the Matter compliant platform certification is that it allows product makers to basically leverage and inherit all the good work that they're, in many cases, they're chipset providers that have been developing SDKs and hardware around Matter, to leverage the work they've already done and inherit their certifications so that the product makers can focus exclusively on developing product functionality. So it really accelerates things to market. The time to market is reduced because it means that product makers do not have to be repeating any of the tests that are part of the Matter compliant platform tests certification program. They only have to focus on their product specific tests. So to give you an example, the Matter compliant platform certification program is really focusing on core things like commissioning, networking, and security, those kind of things that are common regardless of your device. If you're building a light bulb or building a door lock, you don't need to worry about those things if you're already making use of a Matter compliant platform. You simply focus on your door lock functionality or your light bulb functionality.
Okay. We know that many of the device makers have adopted Matter, but we know that many have not. What is the hurdle there that is stopping the masses from adopting it? Is it a technological one, or is it a marketing one? Is it hard to implement?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. If I were to compare Matter to other technologies, and I've been around now for decades in the industry of open standards development, to be honest with you, adoption has been very, very rapid for Matter as a protocol, and literally, I guess it's just a volume thing. Ultimately, we now have all the really big ecosystems, platform providers within the home space. And because of that, there are a lot of product makers that are already joining the alliance. I think the alliance membership is numbers between, I think it varies, but it's around about 700 member companies already, all of which are really interested in developing products. So I think a lot of this is just a timing thing. Some are in the process of developing, and so products haven't quite hit the market. But a lot have. So we've got a lot of certified products out there at the moment. So I suspect it's more just a timing thing rather than any specific hurdle.
So, okay, so I'm going to push you on this a little more. Is there a technological hurdle? Is there something that's hard about it?
Well, I mean, all protocol technology is obviously complex to start with.
But is this one more complex?
Um, it's difficult to assess more complex. Yeah. So Matter as a technology, it's sitting on top of other technologies. So it's sitting on top of Wi-Fi, Thread, Bluetooth. You could even run it over Ethernet, etc. So in terms of that, you don't have to reinvent the wheel for those lower transport layers. So in that sense, there's a layer of simplicity. With what we're introducing now with the Matter compliant platform certification program, you're also, as a product maker, so long as you're building your product using a certified Matter compliant platform, you don't need to be worrying about the commissioning, networking, security aspects of those, at that interface with Wi-Fi, with Bluetooth, with Ethernet, etc., Thread, and you can just focus on the development of your smart plug or your smart light bulb or your temperature sensor. Ultimately, I think that the complexity probably originates from the fact that it is relatively new. 2 years is quite new compared to other technologies. But yeah, we are, as an alliance, taking a lot of steps here to try and make it easier and easier.
And who specifically is the certification aimed at? Is it at the end device developer, or is it more at the component guys, the guys making the MCUs? And I've seen a whole lot of activity on that side where they're making it, boy, I hate to say idiot proof, but they're making it very easy for the device maker to implement this. So is this program more to get the MCU guys to say, here it is, we've done it for you. All you got to do is turn it on.
Well, you're really hitting the nail on the head here in terms of the approach the alliance is taking. Yeah. So when we first launched, a product maker would have to go through all of the testing that would be required at all the different layers, etc., including, like I said, the commissioning, security, etc., etc. So you're right. We are, with this introduction of this new program, the compliant platform certification program, we are making it easier for the product developer, because it means they don't need to focus in that area. But having said that as well, for the chipset vendors, the module makers, etc., it's also good for them because they can therefore, shall we say, once they have been assessed and certified, they know that they've got something they can really differentiate themselves to their own competition as they go after those product developers and try and market their particular solutions to those product developers. It's also, shall we say, ultimately the changes and the new programs we're introducing are good news for the user, because the user, at the end of the day, because product makers have a faster route to market, it means that users are going to get more products more quickly. So all in all, I would say yes, this particular change certainly facilitates product developers, but it actually benefits the entire chain, I would say.
So you don't just tell your AI, make my light bulb matter compliant, and just let it do its thing?
I wish we could. That's one of the things. Maybe in the future, with everything that's been talked about for AI, I'm looking forward to see what it can do for me.
Sure, would be nice. One more for you. Is it geography specific, or if I'm designing a product that's going into Western Europe, is that different from a product that I'm designing that's going into the US or into Asia, or is matter?
It's a great question. In general, matter is matter. Yeah. So it is designed and developed as a global communication standard, protocol for products to communicate together. So it is universal, it is global. It's not necessarily any region specific. Of course, products themselves can become region specific. Things like, their power connectors and main sockets are different in different countries. Language settings may be different. But we do within the Connectivity Standards Alliance, within our certification programs, we do have things called portfolio certification that allows product developers to certify once, only test once for one of their products, and it certifies their entire range of portfolio of products that may be targeted to different regions. So therefore, you're only assessed one time, and although your products will be slightly different in the US as opposed to Spain, UK, Italy, Germany, wherever else you're selling, you're only being assessed once. So we are trying to make it as simple and easy as possible.
Awesome, John. Thank you very much. I appreciate taking the time to educate the audience.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. And thank you again for having me.
That was John Harros. He is the head of certification for the CSA, which is the Connectivity Standards Alliance. I should have said that, but it's such a mouthful. I always stumble over. Anyway, thank you, John. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you, Rich.